Peace, y'all. Happy Moon Day. I was on live for a little second, but my phone kicked me off, so I'm back. But like I said, I wanted to come and talk a little bit about natal charts, birth charts. You know, I want to talk about what they are, how are they significant, how are they helpful, and maybe some of the misconceptions people have about natal charts. I want to highlight this because I do have a special right now going on with birth chart or natal chart. I use that word interchangeably. Birth chart unpacking sessions. And what we do during that session is we unpack your birth chart. Your birth chart is kind of like your blueprint. You know, a lot of times I hear people say, you know, we didn't come with a instruction manual. We kind of did. We kind of came with an instruction manual. Many of us don't know we have this instructional manual. And additionally, many times this instructional manual that I'm in, which is our birth chart, which I'm speaking about, is so many misconceptions about it. It may be even deemed to be taboo, or, you know, something that's, let's just say it, evil or bad. And, you know, let's just go ahead and hop in. I'll start with the misconceptions. You know, a birth chart is not a oracle reading. It's not a psychic reading. It's not any of that. It is the mathematics of when you were born, the cosmic mathematics of when you were born. Basically, what was happening cosmically above. Now, let me break that word cosmic down so that don't sound too mystical. What was going on with the planets, the moon, the sun, the constellations, all of that stuff that actually has a significance. And, you know, for people to really accept the beauty of a birth chart and also the significance of it, you first must accept that what's going on above you has a significance. It has an impact on you. So if you first don't really understand that, then I can understand how you would really think that understanding a birth chart could be far-fetched or something that's kind of like hooty-dooty or too mystical for you. If you don't understand that the moon actually has an effect on you, the sun, the stars, the planets, all of that has an effect on not only you, but everything down here on the planet. It has an impact on, mainly because, main way you can notice that is pay attention to the water levels on Earth when the moon is full or when the moon is a new moon, dark moon. Pay attention to the water levels, the waves. Go over to the ocean and see what's happening. Pay attention to the plants. Pay attention to the flowers. Pay attention to the earth. A lot of, you know, our first culture was agriculture. And that's how we began to understand the connection we had between what was happening above us, with the seasons, with the planets, with the constellations and all of those different things. You know, our ancestors who were more so agricultural people, and the indigenous people who were agricultural, they understand that wasn't so far-fetched. But because we are so disconnected from the land, it also has disconnected us from what's above us. It has disconnected us from cosmic activity. And so I understand the disconnect, but please hear me. Birth charts are not something that's super mystical, super like, you know, I really want to emphasize there's no like evilness. No matter what religion you follow, knowing your birth chart can be very helpful for you on your personal and spiritual development journey. It really can, because again, it's like your blueprint. It gives you a lot of insight about yourself. And that's the most helpful in life, when you have insight about yourself. Because oftentimes when people are finding themselves going through it, they're feeling lost, they're feeling, you know, in despair, they're feeling like stuck, they're feeling like they can't move forward. It's because there's a level of self-awareness that has not been gained. Because at the end of the day, no matter how much you feel like you have a legitimate argument when it comes to what's happening to you is someone else's or something else's fault, the reality is your life is in creation from the inside out. your life is being manifested from the inside out. Everything you are experiencing in your external world starts in your internal world. The way you think, the way you feel, your perceptions, your mindsets. And then from that place, your actions and all those different type of things. Greetings. How's my sound? Everything good? And so when you know what's going on within you, then you can be better able to navigate this world. I'm not helping individuals learn and know how to use their birth chart for you to try to control this world, or for you to try to be so transactional with this world. My purpose in sharing what I have learned in my experience and how I have used my birth chart and how it has helped me significantly is to show how it can help you. Beautiful. Thank you. It can help you to be able to do the level of introspection work that's needed to continue to heal, to continue to grow, to continue to expand. Because again, your life is happening from the inside out. So that means it's a necessity for you to do some introspection work. And that introspection work can be intuitive introspection work, or it can be guided into introspection work, working with a coach or a consultant or therapist, that type of things. But when you begin to do that intentionally, above all things, well, I won't say above all things, but along with intuitive introspection work and guided introspection work, it should be intentional introspection work. And so that has really helped me on my journey, as I'm forever wanting to, make sure I'm really being self-aware, staying present within myself, not getting too caught up in the external world, being able to navigate emotions and feelings and all of those different type of things. And also making sure that I'm not holding on to perceptions about myself that other people projects on me just because they experience you in a certain kind of way. And that's a big issue that comes up a lot in my coaching sessions. People are really trying to reconcile with perceptions that other people have of them, or perceptions that other people have of how they're living their life, and people are not going to always experience you in the best way. Or I wouldn't even say the best way. People won't always experience you in a way that they enjoy. But that doesn't mean you should change you. The best thing for you to do is get to learn yourself, do the best that you can to show up as your highest self every day. Because we do have certain traits about us that come with us. It's just what it is. It's a part of us. And we are living out those traits in a lower vibration. And so knowing your birth chart also helps you to make sure you're living out in the highest vibration. For instance, I was giving an example on the last live that cut off. One of the I forget which planet, but one of the parts in one of my planets, it articulates, when I studied my birth chart, it articulates, you want to be careful, peace. You want to be careful not to be impressionable. You could be impressionable sometimes. It was light, and I was like, I can resonate with that, especially in my experience. I grew up with one of the main principles of living is respect your elders, give honor to those who come before you, seek out people who are wise and experienced as you're going on your journey to help you on your journey. And so that's all well and good, right? But what's important to balance that out is that you're still insecure within yourself. I mean, not insecure. You're not insecure within yourself. You're still secure within yourself. You still feel you have a level of wisdom. You have a level of knowledge. And you don't feel like you're always having to reach outside of yourself for validation or for permission or for knowledge or anything like that. Not to say that that's not a benefit, but again, the balance. But knowing that, being able to understand that about myself, then now I know, okay, let me be watchful as I'm maybe going to school or linking up with people who are more experienced than me or who are my elder or whatnot, showing that level of respect, but don't don't start to feel like I can't make decisions on my own, or I don't know, because it could happen. And I've experienced it on my journey where I felt like insecure within myself. So I was more so seeking out validation. That's that impressionable piece. So that's just an example that I can give with mine. But, knowing your birth chart, and what I mean by that is, when you were born, the day you were born, the time you were born, what was happening above us, what was going on with the moon, what was going on with the stars, and what was it any retrogrades going on? Was it anything conjuncting anything? Was Jupiter conjuncting Mars during that time of your birth? What energy was present during that time? Again, this could feel far-fetched in understanding if you don't understand that what's happening above us impacts us below, okay? And I'm grateful that I have a certain level of way to break things down to make it simple. So my goal is to try to help it, to simplify it, to be understandable. I'm not trying, my desire is not to try. I like to demystify stuff, okay? My whole thing is take the spook out of spirituality. We ain't got time for that. All right, so demystifying the notion behind birth charts and natal charts, and also helping you see it's not so difficult to understand. I'm telling you, once we go through that session, it's going to be simple for you to understand why and how you come up with these conclusions, knowing what was going on above us. And it's a interesting thing. It's a fun thing to know. It's a very impactful thing to know about yourself. Understanding your birth chart. A lot of people know their sun sign. Most people know their sun sign. Many don't know their moon. Many definitely don't know their Mercury, Saturn, Jupiter, Pluto, Neptune, all of those different type of things. And so it's significant, and many don't know, like, oh, my moon is in Virgo and it's in this house, third house. So you don't know that moon, being your inner self, your most deepest reality of yourself, is in a certain sign, say Virgo, so that comes with a certain level of energy, and it's in a certain house, say third house, that comes with a certain focus. So you don't know that, inwardly you're driven a certain kind of way, while outwardly you may be Virgo also, but you may be a whole nother sign, which is and maybe in a whole nother house. And so inwardly you vibing in a certain kind of way, outwardly, and it all is, of course, in divine order and makes up you as a perfect being that you are. But many times you don't know what's going on with yourself, so you don't know how to cultivate yourself. You don't understand how to develop yourself. You out here caught up in the world, worrying about what how other people perceive you. You may be caught up in vibrating on the lower version of yourself. You don't even understand how to get to the higher version. And I'm saying that knowing your birth chart, or at least having some sense of understanding of your birth chart, helps, okay? And so how is it significant? I talked about demystifying some things about it, but how is it significant knowing your birth chart? When you're having issues, like say you're having issues with communication with people, or say you're having issues with expressing yourself in communication. Peace, sister. Once you get to understand which planet influences what in your life, you'll know, okay, communication, let me go look at my Mercury planet. Let me see what's going on with myself when it comes to communication. Say you're having issues with relationships. You'll know, let me go to my Venus in my birth chart and just get some sense about myself a bit. And so forth and so on. And so again, how it helps is it helps you to be intentional with your introspection work. And you can then look and see, okay, this makes sense. And then you start asking yourself, then you go into inquiry mode, asking yourself, how can I, one of the big questions, how can I stay me? Is there a way that I can continue to be me and not feel like I have to come outside of myself and be able to maybe think a certain way, think a different way, behave a different way, or whatever, to bring balance in these relationships. Knowing myself. How can I do that? And you can do that introspection work. And if you have a hard time doing introspection work that actually brings about change in your life, then that's when I say seek out support from either a coach, a therapist, a consultant. I also do coaching work. And so that's a lot of times, a lot of the work that we do together is, I'm going to inquire. We're going to inquire. We're going to peel back the layers. We're going to figure this thing out so that you can expand. And then I think I already said what is a natal chart or a birth chart is basically the day, the time, and the place you were born, what was going on cosmically, what was going on above us. What's the moon doing? Was it a new moon? Was it a full moon? Was it a waning moon? What sign was that moon in? Was that moon or Aries moon? What sun, what was the sun? Was the sun conjuncting anything? Was it an eclipse time? Was it a retrograde? Was Jupiter and Mars, I don't know, squaring? It has all of that in there, and it's all mathematics. And it's, the only thing that's intuitive about a birth chart is if you get a birth chart reading, which essentially I'm saying I am serving to allow you to do a birth chart unpacking session, versus I'm not interested in doing a birth chart reading. Now, I do birth chart readings for myself, meaning I look at the chart and I meditate on it, and I, vibe with it, and then I intuitively interpret, which is basically what a reading is. But that's not what we're doing in this session. What we're doing is help you to understand it, see it, get it, and then we unpack it. Okay, look at this and look at that. Now, what does that tell you about this? And yeah, that makes total sense. That's what we're doing in this session. So check it out. This is going to be for the month of April. This special is going to run for the month of April. So when you go to click the link in bio, you're going to see that March doesn't have any dates for you to sign up for, but it should take you right to April. But if it doesn't, if it puts you in March, just click over and it'll take you to April. But you can utilize this or take advantage of this special all the way through the month of April. You can also share it with friends and family. It is a very powerful thing. I'm telling you, it's so significant. It's so helpful. I mean, I know my son's chart, I knew my mother's chart when I was really working to improve our relationship. I pulled her chart just so I can get some level of understanding about her, so it can increase my empathy for her and increase how I can work with her. And I know people who, before they agree to a relationship with somebody, they're going to pull their chart. Not in a, that may sound weird to some people, maybe. I don't know, I don't want nobody in my chart. But if you're trying to do something serious, I think it's a great benefit. And so couples, I suggest that you book this session. Parents, I suggest that you book this session. Get to know your chart, get to know your children's chart. Book a session for you, then book a session for me to go through your children. Book a session for yourself, and then book a session for your spouse. Get it in where you can fit it in. It's very helpful. When I got to know my son truly, I backed up. You feel me? I'm sorry. Here I am trying to make you me. You know what I'm saying? Here I am. I'm me and you. I'm going to respect you and how you are. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to try to really support you and how you show up in this world. And I'm going to stop projecting my stuff on you. And we do that. We do that thinking, because, whether it's nurtured or natural, I'm not sure. But we have a certain way of thinking because of how we were raised, how we're set up, what we think is right, what we think is respect, what we think is good, what we think is bad. And then we subtly or blatantly try to project that and require that of other people. And that's not the best in relationships. What's best is you to take your time and get to know people. And even better, if you're in a relationship that you feel is significant, really get to know someone by, if you are in ingredients, you know, pull your charts, get to know your charts. Even it's a way in the app that I'm going to show you where you can get comparable charts, where you put both of your charts together, and it's going to say, with this, you know, your thing being here and his thing being there, or her thing being there, it's going to show up in this way and that, you know, and getting that level of insight instead of just winging it and hoping for the best. We do that for ourselves. We do that for our relationships. We do that for our jobs, our money, you know, and give thanks for grace. Give thanks for intuition. Give thanks for, because again, this is just a tool, or if I hadn't said it, let me make sure I say it. This is a tool that we can use, okay? Is it required for you to understand it, like, or know it or anything? No, it's not required. If you don't know it, is it the case where you're not going to be able to grow and God ain't going to listen to you? No, this ain't nothing like that. It's just another tool by the grace of God that we have been given to help us to be able to live this life and live it in the most balanced, lighthearted, fruitful, expansive way. When you know better, you're able to do better, okay? And when you lack knowledge, that's when you begin to perish. And so this is one of those things that can help you to become more knowledgeable about one of the most important things, and that's self. Because God resides in you, okay? That inner being, that higher self is in you. So get to know that self, so that you can cultivate, you can develop, you can heal, you can release, you can expand. And so the more and more you do that, the more and more you can really get in tune with that higher self, and you can live that out. And you can live out the very best of this world. You can not just live, but thrive. And you're not just only experiencing mediocre creation. You're experiencing the very best of your life. And so this is one of them tools that you can use to help you to get there. Because you have to do the work to cultivate. It don't just come just because you want it. You got to do the work to cultivate, especially because we live in a time, in a society where there has been a concerted effort to have us not cultivate. It has been a concerted effort has been made to dumb us down, to take away resources, you know, to make things that's actually powerful for us seem taboo, seem wrong, to seem evil, seem all of these different type of things. And so a lot of us don't know a lot of these things, but when we get to know, it's very helpful. So much, not just birth chart. We don't know about chakras. We don't know about how to, you know, work with the herbs, work with the earth, work with our breath, work with our our mind, the complex and amazing way our mind works. We haven't learned how to work with our mind. We haven't learned how to heal. We haven't learned these things because we want you to depend on somebody else to do this for you. That's the only way a capitalistic society can work. I want you to not feel like you can do anything for yourself, that everything that you need got to come from the outside of you, so that you can come and give me you and give me all that you got in order to just gain you. Just gain what you need to survive at the most part. And possibly, if you good enough, if you meet our standards, if you meet our vibes, then we'll let you thrive. That ain't how it go, y'all. But you got to get to know, and you got to learn how to cultivate yourself so that you can be able to live a fruitful life without depending upon so many external things and these carnal, earthbound things. It's more about the unseen. It's more about the unseen. When you learn about the unseen, what's going on within yourself, what's going on around you, and you start to work with that and align with that and know how to live intentionally, then you can live a life without having so much to go outside of yourself. If at all. You can, and if you do go out, you're going out as an observer, not an absorber. You're going out to do your work, be obedient, do the work that God is leading you to do, or whatever you've been divinely inspired to do. And then you're coming back in. You're not attaching to things. You're not trying to become things. You just focus on I'm making sure I'm in alignment with my higher self and doing the very best that I can in that way. All right. My spiel is done. I've gone longer than I was anticipating. So check that special out. Again, it's posted on my page. You'll see the little flyer that'll tell you about what you'll get during that session. And you can book at the link in bio or link in caption if you're looking at this on YouTube. All right. Peace and love, y'all. Enjoy the rest of your moon day.